All right.
So that is how I applied a couple of roles, called in for interviews, and by the way, all jobs that I've been called for interviews, I've always gotten the job.
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
always
interesting.
say yes.
Right.
You give me a chance to enter that door. Trust me, I will not lose it. It's over for you.
What inspired this ambitious girl to pursue marketing and PR? So why didn't you get to other spaces? What was the interest about? Is it really something that you wanted to do all the way from high school? Your interest? Take us through.
You know, people just see the pomp and color of an event, a conference, a well-organized meeting, but behind the scenes is blood, sweat, and tears. Like endless nights, hard work, you know, and all that. So work-life balance at times is something, but it's very rewarding, especially like if you get the craft and you get it well.
How do you develop a good marketing strategy? Just take us, what's event marketing? Crash course.
Yes. So you can't take the same strategy that you applied in South Africa and bring it to Kenya and you think it will work. So you need actually to come and do a case study or even proper site visit to check how is the market, how are they usually responsive when it comes to summits or conferences or you know, this kind of meetings, where and all that.
It's doing research. But without research, you can't move.
Yes.
So like you can't just, you know, there is the conventional develop event marketing, go to Google how to create that template, but you've not picked don't have research. If you don't have the basic and ground foundation, I would just understanding how they, as you said, understand how the expo and event landscape is. So if it's a charged up event, how's the response? How much did you guys get? How was the turn up? If it's a free event, how was it then leveraged? So, and making some decision based on the data you've gotten. So that's my
the media is very diverse, so you need a very good media relations plan for you to have a successful PR plan. Yes. There's also crisis management. In case there's a crisis, who's the person that will communicate and talk to the key stakeholders and the media in itself. Reputation management.
Again, also it might vary in the agency, and also what the client wants.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, nothing is custom.
Nothing is custom stone. Nothing is custom stone.
Your sins are forgiven. So now let's go to digital.
And agencies really play a very huge role when it comes to supporting key brands that are not able to execute on their own because of the magnitude of work that they handle internally. So there are some of the services that they outsource externally. So that's where most people come in.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, that is where we are headed.
Wow, actually that's true.
Yes.
I think also AI it's now with us. It's part of life.
Yes.
And but right now, if you don't use AI, but it's just supposed to rethink what exactly you did in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, My Stock Podcast. My name is Simon Peter, Mice Ambassador for Kenya, everything Mice. So Mice Diary is first Kenya's Mice Media and Mice Hub for East Africa. So today we are joined with our guest. She's a marketing expert and also an events PR expert. But before we go there, you know very well that we are at the Clarion Hotel where we are hosted. So the Clarion Hotel is a place where we are hosting our podcast today. So it's a huge facility based for conferencing. And without any further ado, let's have a look at the Clarion Hotel. So now we are back. As I said, it's the Clarion Hotel, and today we are hosted by, actually we have a guest today on board. Wanjiru Mwangi. Wanjiru Mwangi has been in practice for over 15 years in the events and PR landscape. She's so passionate about the communication aspect, the marketing aspect of events, and also she's doing something in the world of development communication. I want her to introduce herself so that we can dig deeper in this MICE conversation. How are you, Wanjiru?
Very fine. And,
Hey, it's been a while.
It has been.
Work.
Yes. And thank you very much for this invite.
Yeah,
and,
karibu sana.
You're doing an amazing thing.
Thank you so
by
much.
just collecting knowledge on the MICE industry
Yeah,
in Kenya.
that's actually true. Because in fact, the MICE industry has always been the shadows for the longest. So this, for the first time, we are trying to have this technical knowledge transfer. So it purely build a hub for MICE knowledge in the country, also provide support and, give access to experts like you to educate the masses what exactly MICE means in terms of communications and marketing. Over to you.
All right. So just also maybe just breaking down what MICE means.
Yeah.
So meetings, incentive. It's actually an acronym, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
meeting, incentives, conferences, and events or exhibitions, the way you want to look at it. So that's the industry basically I have been in for the past 15 years.
All right.
Marketing and communication specialist, which I've built over the years. I did a degree. My journey started with my bachelor degree from Desa University, where I did a Bachelor of Arts in Communication with a specialty in public relations, and I also did a minor in marketing. So that's how the two meet, and that's how I've been able to use the knowledge that I got from school and to gather the skills that I have over the years. I'm also a graduate from the University of Nairobi with an Master of Administration, MBA of Strategy. Yes.
All right. Interesting. You had to mention the University of Nairobi.
The University of Nairobi.
Very important.
Yes.
Very important. So
it's an amazing school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what inspired this ambitious girl to pursue marketing and PR? So why didn't you get to other spaces? What was the interest about? Is this really something that you wanted to do all the way from high school? Your interest? Take us through.
Okay. Yes. So when I actually was choosing a course that I wanted to do after university, of course I paid courtesy visits to a couple of universities before I settled for Desta University, a School of Communication.
All right.
I've always been fascinated about how consumers engage with brands and the messaging, and also just the power of storytelling.
All right.
And the strategy that actually comes with it. And over the years, and actually that informed the decision of how we would shape the messaging that would come across, especially from Africa. And we have and still have a very great opportunity of shaping how the Africa story narrative is told. So from that, basically just that curiosity of, how do brands engage with their consumers when it comes to the messaging, perception, and the various audiences. So that's what made me actually want to do communication and marketing.
All right. Interesting.
So it was a very deliberate course that I selected. I really knew this is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be one of those statistics that you studied for something but you don't practice it. Yes.
All right.
So I really wanted
that's quite common.
Yes, I really wanted to practice communication, and also that informed the journey of even where I did my internship, after internship, and how I started the first job till where I am right now.
Which was?
My first internship actually was at Kenya Airways.
All right.
That was the year 2010.
All right.
I was an intern. I was based at the customer service department. I was based at the airport. Basically, what you see when you go through the airport, people who assist you with the check-in and until your final journey when you get onto a plane and leave. So I was an intern there for 3 months. I went back to school, and then now for the internship, for you to graduate, I did it at Communications Authority of Kenya. But then it was called Commission of Kenya. That is how old.
Oh my gosh.
It was.
Actually, I found it when it was called CAK.
CAK. So for me, it was CCK back then. So Communications Commission of Kenya. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And I was attached to the communication department, and then they had various subsectors in the various in the communication department, actually, and PR. So there was events as a standalone. There was also PR, yes, and there was also external relation. So at least they ensured you had a rotation on all the three, so that you can actually, pick a niche after you leave there on what you would actually want to pursue, and yeah. So it was a very good ground to start off and kickstart the
it was
career.
really a good foundation.
Yes, it was.
I think also that the standard, the dream of every student would want to pursue
Yes.
and follow all that journey. Indeed, it's true, you are deliberate on following that path.
Yes, I was.
So then how did you bridge the gap between academia and industry? So now she has graduated, she has gone through all her internship, good recommendation letters. Now we need to work now.
Yes.
So how did you transition into the MICE industry, the MICE perspective?
Okay, yes. So after finishing school, now of course was the job search and job hunt. Of course, you have to be very particular, especially when it comes to filtering of jobs. So I was looking for opportunities in communication, PR, and marketing. So that is how I applied a couple of roles, called in for interviews, and by the way, all jobs that I've been called for interviews, I've always gotten the job.
Oh my gosh,
I always
that's interesting.
say yes. You give me a chance to enter that door. Trust me, I will not lose it. It's over for you.
So okay. So it's when you've gone through even the screening process,
The
before they see us, they're like,
yes.
this one, I will go through it.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's been very intentional to use the knowledge, gather the skills over the years, and of course, mentorship also comes in play. You can't have gone this far without having the right mentors, having the right employer actually also as well. People who will give you, the leeway to just be a creative mind and use the ideas that you have that can actually push a brand to the next level. So I've been very fortunate to actually get organizations that are also passionate in delivering with what they have promised they're gonna do. And by that, of course, building through discipline, hard work, gets you to the next level.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's quite extensive. So so when you talk about events marketing, what do you understand by events market? What is this market? Because I understand, I know marketing is broad, but I don't expect, because I'm double sure, marketing varies with industries again. So if you're in FMCG, agriculture, healthcare, so how you tackle marketing is different. So, and I know you really have a leverage on events marketing. So I just want to take us through, what is this events marketing? So what separates it from the conventional marketing that you see for FMCG? So we have an expo, you have a summit, you have a conference. Now we need to push it. You've aligned all the stakeholder engagement. So these are the guys you want. So then how do you develop a good marketing strategy? Just take us, what's event marketing? Crash course. Kidogo tu. Yes.
Sawa. So events marketing is a promotional strategy that targets you to sell an event, and where you get to sell a brand to come in, either through a service, a product, or actually those three, product and service, where you intentionally make them connect with the right target audience for you to deliver the set objectives of the day.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically then that looks like it's an expo.
Yes.
So an expo, you have the sellers and the buyers.
Yeah.
So now it's to ensure that you bring all this magic together. So an exhibitors get value and the buyers comes and get value.
Yeah.
So what does it take to develop a good events marketing strategy?
Okay.
What are those elements or components for an events marketing strategy?
Okay. Yes. So for a good events marketing strategy, you need first of all to set out very clear objectives.
All right.
Why am I putting together this summit? Who are the right audience? You need the right audience. You need to know who am I targeting to coming into this audience. Who are the key stakeholders? You need key stakeholders to come into this event. You need to know who are the right partners I'm working with. Who are the right vendors or suppliers that I will work with for this event. And then you create also like a very solid program that won't have very many breaks or fillers that For this exhibition to happen, for the summit to happen, this is the particular flow for this event to take place, for it to be successful. And I always say, for you to know whether you've had a successful event, you always go back to the set objectives that you did at the beginning of setting out the event itself.
So which means if you don't meet the objective, it's a flop.
It's a flop, yes.
Yes. All right. And success is based on the objective.
On the objectives, yes. So like, let's say you had targeted to have sales of about 10,000 cans of bottle. I need to come back and look. My set objective was to deliver sales, and I've to put a particular figure. Have I laid out all the correct plan for me to be able to sell, to arrive at that figure of 10,000 cans of X product?
Interesting.
Yes.
So which means if you don't sell 10,000, it's 9,000, then that's not a success.
Yes, you may look at it that way, but there's a success. It's just not 100% success. That's a 90% success rate. You didn't just get to the target that you wanted, but you were there, and that's why you score with a percentage. So you look at it and say, I actually achieved 90%
success
of
rate.
My success rate of
fantastic. So then again I trust along the way we have leeway of changing around the strategy, the tactics. Again, if you had laid let's say 3 to 4 tacts on how to go about it, then you can change along the way. So if you say we are going to leverage on tool, these two are not working, so let's switch.
Yes. So when it comes to you formulating your marketing strategy or your event strategy for promotion, you need to be very agile. You will find that I had set out to do X, it's not working. I need to quickly switch and adapt this other strategy to see and ensure that it works. Also, remember when you're setting out your objective, they have to be SMART, which I think you know what SMART goals are. They have to be, of course, measurable, specific, measurable, attainable, timely, time bound. Yes,
fantastic. What's the R? No, does it have an R?
Yes, it does.
Which is realistic.
Yes,
realistic. Nice. My lecturer is happy where she is.
Realistic.
So actually that actually makes a lot of sense. So most people really struggle in really marketing the event, especially in Kenya, because again, the culture, the dynamics of the Kenyan market is different from a South African market, right? Because again, how you navigate or how you tackle the Kenyan market is different from South African market. So if a conference organizer or an organization is to set a marketing plan for the event, let's say they have a summit, to be specific industry, let's call it in agriculture space. So what are the challenges that people normally, based on your consultancy and your line of duty, so where do these event owners struggle when it comes to the events marketing? So is it the budget? Is it the quality of the strategy? Is it the research element? So what are their pain points?
Okay. All right. So let me first of all touch by saying that when you're working in every market, you must have something that you call managing across cultures. That whatever you do in South Africa and whatever you do in Kenya must not necessarily work. You can't take the same strategy that you applied in South Africa and bring it to Kenya and you think it will work. So you need actually to come and do a case study or even proper site visit to check how is the market, how are they usually responsive when it comes to summits or conferences or this kind of meetings, where and all that. Number one, I usually say for you to get a very good success rate, it's usually based on the venue. And currently in Kenya, apart from indoor facilities that are based in hotel, we are really having a really big struggle when it comes to conference venues and conventional center. Yes, we have one. Yes, but in terms of being modern and the capacity that it can hold and all that, it's a bit of a struggle.
Interesting. So which means you need to up our game on infrastructure.
On infrastructure, yes, and I agree. We need less malls and more conventional center where people can actually come, sit, and meet and conduct business. And you really don't want to underestimate the role of a perfect conference venue, what it can do, and actually even just bringing an international conference, what it does to the economy. I mean, movies moving around from ticket sales to hotel room sales, from entertainment in itself, safaris, people are turned into and that's why you need also all the right stakeholders to come first of all in place. You must involve all the be it the regulatories from the government. Kenya Tourism Board need to come on board. You need to have, private sector. You need to have, the various ecosystem that are there for you to have a successful event. What do you need? You need permits. You need probably if you're doing flyer distribution, which I believe nowadays with sustainability issues, I mean, there are so many platforms that you can nowadays promote your event without actually doing the physical printout of, of promoting the event. So number one, like you've said, would be having a successful a good venue that you can host, depending on the numbers that you're looking at.
All right.
The next thing would be like ticketing. How are you planning to do ticket and registration if it's a paid up event? How do you plan to distribute that and tell people, package the message and tell people I'm having a conference on agriculture and this is the audience that I'm looking at. Remember we talked about having the right target audience from the onset so that you're able to tell them, to communicate to them in advance and tell them I'm having an agriculture conference. An example for purposes of this conversation is do you reach out to universities ecosystem, those who are studying agriculture in the various sectors. You have your Ministry of Agriculture, you have your livestock, state departments,
and those
associations. There are so many. How do you reach out to support groups? Yes, even if you want to go deep back into mashinani and you want to look for maybe that local farmer who maybe is doing something amazing in agriculture and you like to bring them on board. So how do you reach out to such an audience?
Interesting.
So you need a very good plan and ecosystem for you to understand what you really want to achieve in that country.
Also just need to add something also. I just want to see if I'm also a good student.
Yes.
So we know actually agriculture, it's purely rural.
Yes.
And actually around 70-something% of the Kenyan population is rural, which I expect they're investing more on agriculture.
Yes.
So, and I have a summit or a conference and I need to engage people in agriculture. Something I also leverage on, it's the market days. So you go to the market, tell them, yes.
Absolutely.
And also to the churches. Churches are very key. So in fact, even there's some churches that also after the service, they have a marketplace. After that, so Kim also going to the churches is something also we can't underestimate and tell them, okay, we have this type of event. And lastly, chiefs interact with those people, those farmers there, they have the issues.
Okay.
All right, interesting. So over to you.
So actually, yes, what you're calling right now, what you've just touched on, are called touch points. So which are the touch points will I go to for me to be able to reach out to further my engagement with the target audience? So you've talked about it, churches, mall activations, market days, chief's office, Nyumba Kumi initiative, getting the elders, for them to tell them that we have this planned out and all that without belaboring the point. Then for that also you need the right partners on board, be it vendors. I keep saying you, even as an event planner, you can't do everything.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You can't be an event manager, you can't be an event supplier, you can't be an audiovisual, pick one. So get the right partners. This industry has people who have actually specialized on various things that actually are needed in a conference. So be it conference registration, get a partner for that. You need event supplies. Probably you need chairs, you need someone who's able to create for you, a gala dinner for your conference, or there are people who specifically do that. You need someone who will do conference marketing or media relation. There are people who specifically deal with marketing of the conference and all that. Then you need audiovisual, of course. People who come and talk. You need the right speakers. There are people who actually even also who specialize in getting speakers and panels. So you getting the right partners and the right ecosystem that will be able to put through to you to put together an event. That is what actually brings and leads to key success of having a great event.
That was a masterclass. So how long does it take to develop an events marketing?
It depends.
Or how early are you supposed to execute? Because you might find, okay, is it possible to create an event marketing? An event is 2 to 3 months time. Is it possible?
It's possible,
Advice.
yes. Okay, yes. So my advice, it's possible, yes. Then again, it depends on the audience that you want. But if you're looking at the big numbers of you want a footfall of say 10,000, 2,500, you need time. You even need 12 months to plan. Yes.
Like plan an event for next year?
Yes, right now, yes, you start planning on it now. We're in April. You want to host an event in April?
In April? Yeah.
Start planning now. Yes, start doing all the groundwork, research. You don't underestimate how much research you need to know. How is Kenya as a country an example when it comes to hosting of events? What do you need? What are the permits, licenses that are required in place? Do that research. Of course, you need a site visit to come. If you're the sole planner, I always say you need to go and see. Seeing is believing.
Yes,
I keep saying that. Seeing is believing. Hop onto a flight if you're coming from wherever, train, bus, whichever mode that will get you there, get there. Get someone that you can also work with, a local partner, someone who has been in the industry space and understands, getting, like what I've said, getting the right partner to it, start talking and all that, build out that plan together, come up with proposals and budget. Budget actually is the most important for you to know. For me to achieve this budget, I need an example is $1 million US. How am I going to raise $1 million US for me to do this event? I need to charge up this event. It's going to be a paid up event. So you start thinking, how many ticket sales must I make? How many exhibitors will I bring on board? What will be the sales category? What are the benefits that I'm giving to each and every exhibitor that comes through? What is my promise to the exhibitor or person who comes in and exhibit? And be true to it. So yes, I would say 12 months, 6 months, 9 months, depending. But you need time and the right people. Having also like monthly, or when it comes closer to the day, you have weekly status meeting just to appraise each other on where we are and all that.
3 best practices for events marketing. What are the best practices?
So the best practices,
so let me add one. It's doing research. Baby, without research, you can't move. So like you can't just go, there is the conventional developer events marketing, go to Google how to create that template, but you've not picked that. Don't have research. If you don't have the basic and ground foundation, I would just understanding how as you said, understand how the expo and events landscape is. So if it's a charged up event, how's the response? How much did you guys get? How was the turn up? If it was a free event, how was it then leveraged? So, and make informed decision based on the data you've gotten. So that's my one best practice. So let's start on research. And research actually also forms a very big component of how you also interact with the host country. Because remember, if you're an outsider who's coming in to bring in an event into a particular country, you must learn what is the host country doing. Goes deeper even to check in what are their key priorities. Maybe even the government that is implementing is agriculture priorities to them. You're like, yes, get all the information that they have, they are doing about agriculture and all that lays down to you. Foundation.
Number one is that. So number one is research. You need proper research for that. That is best practice number one.
So for instance, I'm just learning a lot. I feel like this is a class. So then which means, for example, if I need to host an agricultural summit in Africa, I look at the countries that are performing best in agriculture and host it there. Vis-a-vis, instead of hosting the agriculture event in a country that does not heavily maybe do agriculture or relying on agriculture, it's purely tourism or different industry.
Is
that again how we can look at it?
Yes, so like we said, check on the key priorities. Yes, key priorities of that particular country. Yes, like if you come to Kenya, I mean, everyone knows agriculture is a priority in Africa. I think in every state, every person right now is actually trying to make themselves food reliant. They don't want to rely on food from outside.
And actually, even our GDP, it's heavily agriculture fed.
So so that's one of the things that you look at. Number two would be the other best practice is look at the key partners that you will work with to deliver that event. I really don't want to really underemphasize the role of having the right partners when executing a project. You need the right partners on board. So under each category, maybe look at, if I'm looking at audiovisual, who are the key people? Maybe top 3 that have been recommended for audiovisual. The other thing you can't overlook is something like security. There are people actually also who specialize in event security. So who are the top 3 like that? When it comes to event supplies, branding of the event. There's also now, people nowadays are leveraging on digital marketing and social marketing to market the event. We've moved away. We are in a new digital age where you actually the TV actually plays, or the broadcast plays a role, yes. But nowadays people get information by the touch of a button on a phone. If I want to know what's happening right now, I just pick my phone. So how do I create the interest of the person that I want to come to this event? If you can't tell it to me under 60 seconds, you're not selling me. So you need to package also your messaging well. Nice. Who are the people that you're bringing? And lastly, there are many those best practices, but I'll try and getting the right partners. The last, maybe the third that I would pick would be maybe media relations, and how you manage the PR for that particular event or conference or summit that you're having.
All right.
You need presence. You need people to know you're doing this and why you're doing it.
All right.
Yeah, it's for the public to get a perception of.
All right.
Yeah, so you are in control of that. So
all right.
Those are the three that I would
all
go
right.
out for.
I'm really interested with numbers. So I need to understand like what's the overall budget to have. Like for example, let me use this case study. So a foreigner needs to host like a conference of 2,000, 3,000 packs in the country. So what's the roughly overall budget? And you've really mentioned something on digital. So without digital, incorporating the digital element in a marketing strategy, it's a flop. So I understand, again, digital is not just creating a post, boosting, voila. So you need to understand the platforms. How do you navigate? How do you create a bespoke digital strategy for pushing that event, and what this budget looks like? Take me through.
Okay, so back again to the basics of marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing is how consumers engage with your brand.
Yeah.
That should be the first outline of how do you want my consumers or the audience that I'm actually inviting for this particular summit to come and engage with the brand or with the consumers, like you said, buyer, seller. Yeah. And most of the time it's just could be maybe knowledge sharing on what knowledge you have in the agriculture sector, getting the right panelists for this particular conference. So if you have an audience of between 2,000 to 3,000,
yeah,
it's you're gonna cough up some very good money. Like I said, that money you need to raise it in collaboration and in partnership.
All right.
So that's why you need sponsors on board. That's why you need the right media partners on board, because they will come and they will market your event. You need to have a media budget to it. Yes. You need to have, like I said, again, is it a paid up conference or it's a free to attend conference? Is it a closed out event, invite only? You can also even have an invite only event where you have 2,000 to 3,000 delegates. Yeah. You just need the right people to register, verify, and all that. So having the right partners on board to do that it's a very good thing to do. Matters budget, it's an A to Z when it comes to planning such a conference, because you need all the key stakeholders that are required in an event. Someone who will help you with the conference registration, to the small details of, you need a creative, you need someone who will do the look and feel, someone who will do the digital strategy, someone who will do the marketing strategy, someone who will do the communication, the media plan to it. You need, event support, event security, you need the government on board and all that. So these are some of the key elements that you need for you to have a successful event A to Z. So matters number. Yeah, allow me not to touch on a specific figure so that the industry doesn't come and tell me, why did you say it was X amount, and all that. So it really
it varies. Yeah. Again, also it might vary with the agency, with different rates, and also what the client wants.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, nothing is cast on stone.
Nothing is cast on stone. Nothing is cast on stone.
Your sins are forgiven.
Just need
So now let's go to digital.
Yes.
So again, so how do we develop like a proper full-blown digital
plan?
Yeah.
So you need to know how soon do I need to get this out information to the audience.
Yeah.
So usually start with save the date, coming soon, something. You need to tease and tell people that, or even create that. I usually say FOMO. You feel like you're missing out if you're not in this particular conference or event. Do you want to do free webinars for people to understand who are you, Who are you bringing? Why do you need to attend this particular conference? Who are we bringing? Do a teaser of the speakers, which panel they will be. If there are specific side events that, you have a particular partner or sponsor who has come on board and they would like to do a side event, how do you help them market it to the right audience so that their room is full and with the right audience, and they're able to get and derive value based on what they have. So yeah, so digital marketing is very important. You look at the key social. Number one, I think you know, even from being in the industry, that the biggest used social platform is Facebook in the country. Yes, and then you have the others coming in close. You have very huge
and just
numbers.
a few trends just to update you on that.
Yeah.
So last week, TikTok surpassed Facebook. Subscription users.
Yes, exactly.
TikTok actually
is also
surpassed.
It's also used, and that's why I'm telling you, like, if you can't tell it to me in 60 seconds, because TikTok you just go scroll and
actually 30
that's
seconds.
That's why even the nickname to it is clock up.
Wow.
It's like
yes, that's
it's ticking.
true. Definitely.
TikTok. So so you have that. You have Instagram, which is very good with pictures, videos and stories and reels. Again, keep it short, sweet. If you want to upload maybe a full longer video, they allow you to upload up to an hour of content there, same as Facebook. You can do Facebook Live, you can do Instagram Live, you can also do X. X also allows. You also have LinkedIn if you want to reach us to all the professionals. So you look at the various messaging across the various platforms, and you ensure that So the other thing I would also is have a media buying budget. You do targeted ads. It's beyond that, and push up your engagement. When people ask where can I register, make sure you have an active community manager who keeps engaged with the audience. Push up the numbers. Share it out with the various communities and channels that you have. WhatsApp nowadays also has come in as a very good platform where you can create communities. Yes, you can create a channel that people can get information out of it. So yeah.
All right. So that's very informative. So what's your biggest breakthrough when it comes to events marketing? Just say that this project, this one, the way I got it, this one was my best. So what's the biggest breakthrough in your career, especially in the events marketing space?
I'd actually call it, it was a public awareness campaign. We started it out I did this project in 2017. The client was Philips. So they were running an public unawares campaign on sudden cardiac arrest. So they wanted the public to know the cardiovascular diseases contribute to 30% of the deaths in the country, and 12% out of that 30% was attributed to sudden cardiac arrest. So the purpose of that campaign was to educate people on how you can reduce the risk of someone dying of sudden cardiac arrest. What are some of the procedures that you can do? So they got into partnership with Kenya Red Cross, and I think Red Cross are situated everywhere in this country. Their emergency response, and they partnered with Kenya Red Cross by donating AEDs, automated defibrillators, external defibrillators, the ones that they show you are shocked and come back to life. All right. So they partnered with them, and they were gonna set up 10 AEDs in public spaces in Kenya so that they can reduce the death rate that come as a result of sudden cardiac arrest. So of course it had a very good stakeholder engagement. You had to engage, border in case of an emergency, especially in the lower income areas where quick access would be a boda rider. So we set up a training with boda community. Of course, you had to go through the various the various groups. We started it out with Nairobi, and the challenge for Philips Foundation to donate the 10 AEDs. We created a challenge where people could cycle, and the number of kilometers that people reach at a particular target of kilometers. Philips Foundation donates an AED to Red Cross, where they put them up in public spaces. So successfully we were able to cover all those kilometers. We set up various touch points. There was a setup at Kenya Archives here in town, at Kenya Archives, where people came in and they cycled. They were interested, create that engagement. I usually say for you to engage the public, you use the five senses. So what do people see? Okay, they see, wow, there's a beautiful setup
the
here.
wow effect.
Yes, beautiful setup here by Philips. Okay, why are you here? They want to hear. Why? What are you telling them? So you come and tell them, this is why we are here. This is what we are, the message into it. This is, okay, what can they see? So they see, they're like, okay, this is the challenge. Please come key in your name, cycle, you contribute the kilometers. And then after we get to a certain kilometer, we are going to donate AEDs to Kenya Red Cross. So it became a challenge that was done by
So actually,
Kenyans.
when you need to cycle more, so you can get, and also
Yes,
cycling
and
is
actually there were stationary
part of
bikes.
Exercise.
Yes, part of exercise. Yes.
And also that's promoting physical exercise to reduce.
Yeah.
all that.
Yes,
All right.
yes. So that was one.
that's a good one.
Yeah. So that was one in 2017. We did it again in 2018. We moved away from Nairobi. We went in Meru, where now it was like a Tour de Meru challenge, where it was led by actually MC Jesse, where he led the cycling. Yes, and then we also donated by cycling that there's a mission hospital in Meru. They were also given those external defibrillators. Again, because Kenya, we are the home of running champions.
Yes.
Where else better place could it take it than Eldoret?
Oh my gosh,
so we went to Eldoret. People cycled from Nairobi to Eldoret. Yes, and also the campaign extended. By the time we were coming to an end of it, it was also done. It became a Pan-African initiative. As a public awareness campaign. It was done in Egypt, and Egypt in 19 or 20? Yeah. They won a Guinness World Record as the biggest created GPS heart tracker by cycling round.
Right.
So that's one of the...
That's interesting.
Yes. When it comes to conferencing, that's on public awareness campaign. When it comes to conferencing, one of my biggest achievement was doing the Kenya Civil Aviation ICAO, it's called ICAN event, where it's a negotiation event where host countries come and negotiate about the aviation sector on it's an event actually where the key stakeholders from various countries come sit negotiate. So we had 1,200 delegates coming in. Remember, this is a closed event sector, not just anyone from. I mean, if you have no interest in aviation, and it's very highly involving, where you bring in. I mean, there were various ministers, head of governments who were coming because you come and sit and negotiate on landing rights. Can I come park me your aircraft? When you see those aircrafts parked in JKIAs, because they've negotiated with the various countries, like I can fly into Kenya 2 times into your country. An example is like an Emirates. I can have 2 flights coming in out of Nairobi to Dubai 2 times. So for that to happen, the host nation must sit down, agree, and you're going to be paying. These are the costs, these are the rates, and all that, and then it's put into signature. So it was a 5-day event. Yes, it had the A to Z, like I'm telling you about. It was what is at KICC. Then the president was His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was the one who opened the conference.
All right.
Yeah, it had various elements, and we added the tourism bit for it, created, being the only country that has a national park in the city. Right. So we created some tours on all that. So tourism was also built and all that. That's why I keep saying we really can't underestimate how MICE industry contributes to the economy. Yeah, because the hospitality industry is usually at boom when meetings happen. Yes. Yeah. And there's a particular country that is really beating us with this. With these conferences right now, because most
of our neighbors,
just our neighbors here.
Right,
Kigali Conventional is
fantastic.
Well done. Yes, it is.
They've actually been going there more frequently.
Yes.
So it's a public facility being managed by the private sector.
Yes.
That's Radisson.
Yes.
Good work. Kenya.
So the next conventional center should also have a full facility with a hotel. Where as a delegate, I don't have to think of shuttle services and all that. There's a whole conference a whole hotel that has been built with over 600 rooms. People can just walk in from when you go to KCC. It's amazing.
It's a huge one.
Yeah, it's a huge one. And so those are some of the challenges that we like also putting out there to government and the people who are in charge of infrastructure. The next convention conventional center should be something that even people from across the world, we're in the standards of Spain, we're in the standards of South Africa. Santon can host, I don't know, over 12,000 delegates and all
That's
that.
one for EC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also been there to that one in Santon. So those are the standards that we really need to get to. Yes. Yeah.
So let's hope the Bomas is going to emulate that.
Yes. Yes, I can't wait. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully we're going to follow up on June. So we had shared with them a request to highlight and feature on the same.
Yes.
And they told us like they give us like a period of 3 months. So they put like the house in order.
Yeah.
Though currently they are going on with the demolition. So probably in the next 3 months we'll now see start seeing something visible. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's actually good insight. Now let's switch gears now to the PR aspect of it.
Yeah.
So as we wind up, so events PR. So I think it tackles around crisis communication, media relations. So who talks about who are the speakers? What are the key messages? So take us through some few highlights on events PR.
Okay, so the events PR. Basically, let me just touch on what PR is for purposes of people who would like just to get a deeper understanding of PR is. Of course, it's the perception that you create for the public.
Yes, that's true.
And of course, each and every person hopes that the perception that they create with the audience is positive.
Yeah.
And that's why you've highlighted some of the key components would be, number one, media relations, crisis management, reputation management, content creation also falls under PR, just to mention but a few. So when it comes to media relations, anytime that you host a MICE event, ensure that you have, one of the key things is ensure that you have a media room that they can do a media briefing or interviews, side interviews,
a media center.
Yes, that they can quickly be able to sit comfortably, type out a story, send it to their news editor, newsroom, to whoever that needs to get on what is happening real on ground, real time.
Yes,
real time is the word.
True.
Yes,
Yeah.
real time on ground. There's that too. There's also crisis communication. You need to set out a team in case a crisis arises. Who is the contact person that will speak on on behalf of the organization or the summit or the conference itself? Who will be the person? When it comes also to reputation management, this is where you do also a deep dive onto all the speakers and the panels that you bring on board. Of course, you don't want to bring someone who recently just had a controversy on something, was highlighted negatively onto the media. And that's why when you ask me about some of how AI is helping, some of the tools you're able to sieve through and do a background check on that, just for reputation purposes, even for the partners that you will bring on board, ensure that you do that.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a content publication. Enable the team. Give them as much information as they would. I usually say there's nothing like information overload when it comes to communication or giving people what they need. They need to know.
That's true.
Let them pick out now from what you've given. Give them all the details that they require, access to files, if they need bios, if they need speakers, if they need to do interviews and all that. Because I'm sure even organization prepare the key people that maybe sit on panels and tell them this is what you need to go say in case you're called in for ambush interview. And the way journalists are usually good. Simon, what is your thought on you've been ambushed, but you've been prepared. Yes, they've caught you off guard, but you need to, if you're not the right person, say I'm not allowed to speak to on behalf of this. Let me pinpoint you to the person who, and then you connect them to the
I think it's better for them to have like one spokesperson who everything you need is a contact person.
Yes, in case there's anything. Press releases are sent on time.
All right.
There's also media advisory which are sent out to the key media houses, and also negotiate for interview slots in the broadcast. Bring in all the international media partners who, if you can, to come in and cover your story, share it out as wide as possible. Yes, media is a very important fourth estate when it comes to also marketing your.
You can't ignore it.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. Yes, that's the power of
interesting.
PR.
So then again, what does it take to have a very good PR, events PR element? Because we've talked about developing a very good events marketing strategy, and you said objective, budget, the tactics, and most importantly, research. Now, PR, again, let me start again. Research, very important. So again, what are the touch points, or what are some of the key elements of a good events PR plan?
A good events PR plan.
Yeah.
Touches on the key elements that I've talked about.
Yeah.
Number one is the event coordination. Let me start with that.
Yeah.
The event coordination basically is how well you plan for your event, all the elements, stakeholders, etc. The other one would be media relations.
Yeah.
How well are you connecting with are you well connected with your media? Be it broadcast, be it radio. Media is very diverse. So you need a very good media relations plan for you to have a successful PR plan.
Yeah.
Yes. There's also crisis management. In case there's a crisis, who's the person that will communicate and talk to the key stakeholders and the media in itself? Reputation management. In case that there's anything that there's a risk to it, who is the key person and personnel that will reach out to when it comes to reputation? The other one would be content distribution. You will get a lot of content. Who are your partners that you will lose for production? Realize I haven't touched on production. That is a very key element. And nowadays, since we live in COVID taught us, COVID-19 taught us how that we can survive actually without being in a place physically.
Yes.
Are you employed? Are you using some of the using some of the virtual platforms to connect with people they can join from anywhere?
That's true.
That's another. How are you going to distribute your content nowadays? People even put if it's inaugural session that is going to happen, or the opening ceremony, it's hosted on YouTube. You actually, because buying space in media to have an opening session is not cheap.
That's
so
true.
People leverage now on YouTube Live to have the session there. Are you going to have a full day? What does it take from a production perspective? Of course, there's right into it. You need press releases. You have media advisories. You have social media posts.
Nice.
There's also from a digital perspective, there's also live live tweets or communications that come from real time on ground. That person X said this and this.
So these are the
during
key
opening
announcements.
Yes. Yes, and all
these
that.
are the keynote takeaways on this speech.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, so that's those are the key components that I would look at from a PR when it comes to event marketing.
All right.
Yeah.
So as you go to the other section, so what does it take to? What is this media relation that you keep talking about? What is this media relation?
So, a media relation basically involves you as an agency that you have brought on board to come in and ensure that you have the right stakeholders from the media fraternity to come and give you coverage for your event or conference.
All right.
So, an example is like if you're doing an event on agriculture, you need that is a section that falls under business. If you're doing a social event, say like product X, they've launched a new product into the market, that is a lifestyle. So you need the right journalists in place, those who write and cover for lifestyle. So they are there. If it's an announcement on, it's a new conference, it's the first conference that's happening in, even in Africa, and they've chosen Kenya as the destination country that would host this conference. That now forms as part of the news of the day, because it's something new. It hasn't happened in the continent. You're the first to host. What are the key highlights and key takeaways from it? So you need the right media people, be it writers, be it bloggers. There are people who blog just for business, and the people who blog for specific sectors. They are influencers nowadays. They just create content based on what you share, and they disseminate the knowledge. So those are the when it comes to media.
Just need to have like good contacts.
Yes,
media contacts.
Good.
So you can call someone. Someone who does this.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've seen you really doing a good job within your space. So what are some of the sustainability element or sustainability initiatives that takes place through the marketing space? So what does sustainability in marketing landscape looks like?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a very good question on sustainability of marketing, and actually a lot of guys are looking for sustainable ways that anytime that they have a marketing event that they can use. Number one would be it's I would talk on ticketing, how people nowadays, yes, it's a paperless registration system.
Yes, that's true.
That is one of the ways that people are looking at it.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to the issuing of maybe conference badges, you use material that are easy to recycle, and also when it comes to because you see hosting about 2,000, 3,000 people in one venue. You can imagine if each and every person had a bottle of water, plastic, to take away. So nowadays we are encouraging even people, please carry your bottle. We'll put water dispensers, all those water stands, strategic points. Just go refilling your bottle as you go. That is also another way that we're looking at it. I mean, in terms of sustainability for marketing. And also they use now, I think I talked of it, of AI when it comes to reports and
all right. And also I think right now we are doing away with the print out of I don't know programs. Nowadays people are even developing apps. You get real-time information. Like I was just the other day, early this month, I was in Kigali, and there was no printout of anything. They were even telling you, download this app, you get all the information that you need about the event. Even the session where you're supposed to be, you get it from your phone, from an app. It was very well updated. Even pictures were being updated real time, like the pictures for the opening ceremony are here. Click here to download if you want to post something. So those are some of the ways that people are. So people are also using tech to get rid of the all the paperwork and all that. Plus, I mean, in this day and age, why would I walk around with papers printed and you can get everything by the on your phone? Interesting. So I know nowadays marketing is not a male job, it's also female. And also in fact early this year I got an insight or a report that now women are earning more than men, and actually in the corporate spaces women are actually taking up the space that are being paid more than the men. I don't know if you've come across that incident.
Where? I'd like to read that report.
I'll find it somewhere.
Please share it with me.
I'll just put it hapa tu chini, watu wataangalia hapo. So how is it like being in the marketing space as a woman? So has it like made any changes? Is it any different for you? What does it look like?
So on the gender, we are making progress. We are not yet there 100%. Actually, there's a report. That's why I'm curious to see that report. There, men are still paid more compared to women in particular roles. And but the good thing about the industry is we are having more women take up the positions into marketing. There's also what people just see the pomp and color of an event, a conference, a well-organized meeting, but behind the scenes is blood, sweat, and tears, like endless nights, hard work, and all that. So work-life balance at times is something, but it's very rewarding, especially like if you get the craft and you get it well. The other thing maybe I would also talk about is mentorship. I mentor a couple of people. I've set up a couple of teams before, and left them running. And after that, you find someone they blossomed. People went to other roles. They are doing very well. I'm very proud of when I hear that communication and people just come out and ask you, "Hey, I've been called for this role. What do you think?" And then you're able to give guidance. That's when I realized, I've grown up now. Where you're able to give. So yes, I also do mentorship to young people who, and specifically actually have a bias to women.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I do. Just mentoring them into the space and sharing the knowledge and because I also made it in the industry through mentorship. I had very good former bosses. Yes, nice. Allow me to shout out Eric Mwanzia is one of them. He was he's amazing. He formed a very crucial part of the journey, and he's one of the big people who I'd actually recommend when it comes to professional conference organizing. The organization that he runs is called the Arts Group.
And I think Eric also I trust you are speaking on the same Eric Mwangi.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So actually, he also doubles as a chairperson
For EMAC, yes, event managers of Kenya. Yes.
Yeah, actually, he's a big fish actually in this space when it comes to the mice ecosystem.
Yes. So I'm a product of
Eric Mwangi.
Yes, I went through his hands.
Eric, see now we have your product here. So it's good stuff because also you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
To be honest, also Eric has also inspired me in such a way. Yeah,
amazing.
Because also through the agency, they have worked with him indirectly.
Yeah.
So in terms of his quality of work, his work ethic,
yes,
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And gosh, the quality of work, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Eric knows his stuff properly.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
and one thing here that he also keeps saying and keeps telling me is when I also touch on mentorship, is a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle.
Yeah, that's true.
So pay it forward.
Yeah,
pay it
that's
forward.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
So like what's your key message to some of the new fellas that are transitioning from academia to industry? So what's your message? So and what's other your message to the industry, to the events marketing industry? So what do they need to look at? Like what do we need to put in order? What are the what are just key takeaway points?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I would say and actually an industry that is looked at as not at times having professionals. We are there. We are professionals, like you can see. We went through the school system.
Yeah.
We studied with an MBA, and so it's very inspiring to just if actually you're a passionate creative and you just love just seeing how consumers interact with brand, the key message, and you're passionate about that, please join. This is the right industry for you.
All right.
It's hard work.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard work. You really put in a lot, but there's nothing as satisfying as seeing maybe a campaign come to life and you're like, that was my idea, that was my brain. I was behind this campaign, and so and agencies really play a very huge role when it comes to supporting key brands that are not able to execute on their own because of the the magnitude of work that they handle internally. So there are some of the services that they outsource externally. So that's where most people come in, and so you can make a very good career out of it. Hey,
all right, interesting. It's actually it's a good space.
Yeah.
So actually, that's something positive.
Yeah.
Because in fact, this far away. So recently, just last week, I saw a TikToker saying how the agency world, it's crazy. Like it's on the other flip side.
Yes, it's right. I think I saw that. I was
I saw that. I'm like.
I could identify.
Where?
I was like, that is true. That is so true. People just think it's the endless sleepless night.
Yeah. So
hard work.
It's true.
But you can balance. Like for me, I'm a mother.
Again,
too.
you're a product of the agency. So again, and you straight to balance.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Actually, so that was like, where?
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens in the agency. I think because thick skin.
Yes.
Resilience.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So. Parting shot to our viewers and our guest. So, and is the Kenya's mice industry headed in the right direction? What's your opinion?
Yes, we are headed in the right direction.
In what way?
In what way? Let me come to that.
Yes.
We've actually embraced tech-based solutions in the mice industry. We've also embraced live experiences.
All right.
Like from the exhibition and all that. It's not just about giving you a booth, come and exhibit. You're concerned about what is the experience that the customer will get or the buyer will get when they come into this conference.
Nice.
So we are very, very much invested onto the experience and use of tech, sustainability. We've talked about it. Some of them.
Nice.
We are using, and yes, infrastructure is coming up, and I'm looking forward to seeing more infrastructure. Coming up, conventional center, meetup points where people can, and the economy thrives when
that's true.
The mice industry thrives. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, ways to the industry.
Yeah. So, parting shot to the industry. Oh, that's a good one. It's been an amazing journey. In marketing and communication, just seeing how best, you can go out there and talk about your product, your service. I've actually been honored or privileged to work in both product and service. I've actually done marketing of services, and it's totally different from when you're doing a product, and also putting people together up in a room. So yes, keep up the professionalism. And I think maybe my last parting shot to the audience would be knowledge transfer.
Yeah,
and you've gained knowledge in 15-20 years. They are gurus more than, they've worked in over 20-30 years into the industry, just transferring that knowledge to the next generation of how best, some of the best practices that have worked, some that can be kept. You really can't underestimate the pioneers or the gurus on what knowledge that they can give, and also like keep evolving, keep innovating with time, and picking best practices. I keep saying like benchmarks also work. Go to another country and see what makes, say, Kigali Conventional a good destination for mice. What is it that they are doing?
All right.
Look at somewhere like South Africa. Santon, convention. What is it that they have that keeps people going there and there over and over? So
All right. That actually makes a lot of sense. It's good insight. And I wouldn't want to add anything or remove anything. Whatever you said, it's enough. This is a My Stock podcast with Wanjiru Mwangi.